Hey everybody, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to the MAGWest voiceover panel. I am Montel Thompson, known as Navy Montel throughout social media, and it is not my fault. This is how I was born. And we are here today to talk to four incredible voice actors who have been working and doing their thing. And we're going to find a little bit more about their experiences and get some insight and advice from them. And I'm excited about this because each one of them has something and they've done something that has had an impact on the anime world and otakus alike. So if we could, I'm doing an introduction with each of y'all. We'll start with Mr. Zeno.
What's up? My name is Zeno Robinson. I'm an actor based in LA. Probably know me as Hawks in My Hero Academia, Go in Pokemon Journeys, Remy Remington in Big City Greens, Hunter in the Owl House, and a lot more other things. Boy 1A in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, can't forget that.
Classic, my favorite.
Classic.
All right, Jonah.
Hi, my name is Jonas Scott. I'm an actor based in LA. I do mostly voice acting. You may know me as Legoshi in BEASTARS. Joe in Skate the Infinity. I voice plot point character Willie Tiber in Attack on Titan. And a lot of others. I got a video game coming up called Dying Light 2 in February, and I play the protagonist in that as well. So,
Oh, wow. Congrats, sir.
thank you.
AJ.
Hello, my name is AJ Beckles. I play Takamichi Hanagaki in Tokyo Revengers, Shigi Tadamaru, and Kimono Jihen, and a bunch of other little things here and there. Rumina from Baki, and a couple things that haven't been announced yet. But yeah, good to be here. Thank you.
And Miss Anairis.
Hi, my name is Anairis Quiñones. I am a voice actress based in Florida. I voice Mirko in My Hero Academia. I voice Nessa in Pokemon Twilight Wings. Every time I get this question, I forget all my characters on the spot.
The two that's the most popular, and you forget all the rest.
You're one of us.
I love them all.
Yeah.
Yelling on Attack on Titan, Strawberry Cookie, and Cookie Run that was recently announced, and a whole bunch of NDA things I cannot talk about.
Oh, goodness. The strength, the dread of the NDA, everyone. Yes, so we already know.
It's as bad for us as it is for everyone else. Trust us.
Yeah. And
We hate them
want to
too.
face off. We want to.
Uh-huh.
We can't.
So
I
bad.
can only imagine
face.
how it is for you guys. NDA, why? Okay, so we can't do
Right.
anything. First of all, thank you guys so much for taking the time for this panel, and it means a lot because I'm sure there are some fans out here who are watching this panel who are thinking about being voice actors and are aspiring or are working towards it. So any knowledge and wisdom that you might have will definitely go far, and we're gonna have fun. We're gonna make it fun. I believe in making it fun. There's enough straight lace out there. No, we're gonna make it fun.
Okay.
So in becoming a voice actor, and I want to start with Zeno on this one. Was this something that you wanted to do from the beginning?
I've always wanted to be an actor, so yes, in a very tangential way. Like, I knew early on that acting was the thing that I wanted to do, and that meant whatever form it ended up taking on. So, yeah, it just happened to kind of take off in this way. So, but this is something that I've always wanted to do. It's always on my heart. So, yeah. always.
Okay. Anairis, what about you?
Similar to Zeno, I loved acting. I loved being creative. That was always my favorite thing. And I wanted to get into theater. I was very interested in that, but I moved a lot, and also I was a shy kid, so I didn't really get involved in any theater communities. And, in the day of the internet where you could, learn to do anything, I learned how to be a voice actor, and I was a part of an online voiceover community for many years. Did it as a hobby, and then it became a side gig, and then it became my full-time job. So
Can't go wrong. Jonah, I gotta hear this, sir.
Well, I've been a theater actor for almost a little over a decade at this point. I'm showing my age. I've been a theater actor for a very long time, and I've been an actor since I was 8 years old, just in different capacities. And as long as I've done it, people were telling me that I got a cool voice, and I turned that into singing. I thought they meant that I had a voice for singing, so I became a singer for a while. I did Shakespeare for a while. I did larger stage shows in Louisville and like Cincinnati and things like that. But I just wasn't getting. It became really hard work, and I wasn't getting as much out of it as I wanted to. And there's a lot of other tangential stuff that go into it. But I one day was told my parents that I'm gonna move to LA because I want to try voice acting, and everybody says that I got a cool voice online. I had some success doing independent projects online with friends and people who became my friends who then moved to Los Angeles. And I figured it was time to either follow the pack or choose something different. And I moved out here with like $200 in my pocket and a bunch of clothes, and I slept on. I don't know if you guys know Jalen Cassell, but I slept on his floor for a year. And
wow.
Here we are. I just, a bunch of hard work, and yeah, we're here.
Okay.
I'm in my own room. I got my own room now.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, right.
That's a success story right there where you can get your own room, I think.
Yeah, right. In this economy.
AJ, what about you, man?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I didn't have any acting experience at all. I was like maybe end of my junior year in high school, maybe even senior year. I was sitting outside. Huh?
So it was like last year?
Yeah, like last year.
I was sitting outside and my cousin was like, hey, there's this thing called voiceover. You want to give it a shot? And at that point, I had given up on, I wanted to be an artist. I wanted to be a basketball player, but I was 5'7", and I was like, there's not many 5'7" basketball players in the world, but I still play because it's fun. But I had given up on that, and I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I was like, sure, like I'll give it a try. Why not? And I was good at it. And that's really it. It's not really as glamorous. I was just like, I'm the type of person where if I'm good at something, I just want to get better at it. So I just kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it. I went online and auditioned because it was fun. Luckily, I had the support of my mom when I was like, can I get a mic? Can I get this? Can I get that? Because I didn't have the money back then. And I was lucky enough to meet people like Zeno and Anairis and other people that like believed in me early on, and now I'm here. But it was never really a plan. That kind of stumbled onto me, I guess.
So that became an accidental blessing, so to speak.
Absolutely. I don't know. Literally to this day, like if someone was like, "What else would you do?" I honestly have no clue.
I have no idea.
That far
I have no idea what I would do.
No.
Somebody,
I'd be homeless. I tell people, what else
just rug that pull up for me.
That's what I would do.
I'm probably the same way. As old as I am, I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do, so don't feel bad. You guys have a career. I wanted to open this up to everyone. Anyone can answer this. In your journey to become a voice actor, what has been your biggest challenge?
Yeah.
Mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard. Like a lot of people think that like we say it all the time. We're like, you got to have thick skin, but man, I'm going to tell you, I just got my agent a little bit like earlier this year and everything like that. And I've gotten the opportunity to audition for things I've never dreamed of auditioning for. And it hurts when you don't get them.
Oh, wow.
It does. It really does. So that's the number one thing, maintaining your mental health, like not believing you're enough is really difficult.
Yeah. And an addendum, like, AJ said he's auditioned for things he's never dreamed for before. I auditioned for things that I've been dreaming my entire life, and then you don't get them. And it's like, what do you do?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say much, but I'm in a situation like that right now. And it's like, roll the dice. What's going to happen?
Wow.
And to add on to what you were saying, AJ, it's not just not getting the work. It's getting, because this whole gig is feast or famine. You know what I mean? And as an actor, you say yes to everything. Otherwise, you're kind of screwed. And saying yes to everything fills up your schedule pretty quick. And especially when things are done in like 2-week chunks, right? So if you have, 6-hour recording days every day, and that's for one show, and then in the evening you have a video game that you're doing, and then the next day you got to get up at 8:30 to be in, Marina Del Rey by 9 or whatever. Your day is in your free time to some extent, between driving back and forth to studios and all over the place, is now somebody else's, and it's figuring out now that you don't have a 9 to 5, It's figuring out where can I get me time? Where can I get time with my friends? Where can I sit down and not work for a little bit? Because I'm a streamer too. And playing video games with my friends is kind of part of my job. But sometimes I don't want to have the camera on me, or sometimes I want to play through this game that I've been waiting for years to come out by myself. Right. So it's not just the acting or anything like that. It's managing your own time effectively while an agent manages your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little different. Well, I definitely agree with all them, but I feel like my biggest impediment when it comes to like mental health and acting is, you know, when I was younger, especially in my teenage years, I had terrible social anxiety. I could not ask for barbecue sauce at McDonald's for the life of me. I was
Bless
like,
your
no,
heart.
I can't do it. I can't. And I just could not talk to people. And it was like, you know, bane of my existence, fed into depression and, you know, some bad thoughts and stuff. And I've grown a lot since then, but, you know, it's still something I kind of struggle with, where I try to maintain like my depression, you know, chronic depression and anxiety, and try to not have it hold me back creatively, because sometimes I give in too much to my anxiety and I'm like, oh, I'm not good enough for this. You know, why would I be good enough for this? And then imposter syndrome comes in and it's like, oh, this was all a fluke. So, you know, it's trying to anchor yourself and be your own best friend, and, you know, just be able to maintain your own mental health so that you can jump into character and handle whatever they're going through, you know.
Okay. All right. Well, that I can understand that, especially with the challenges of trying to maintain and also try to have a career. And if you're just starting out, I know it can be the biggest challenge. If you had to give advice to someone who wanted to, let's say, get into voice acting, if you had one piece of advice, just one, something that will stick with them, what would you tell them?
How do you ask this question?
Huh?
Anairis has the floor.
We'll let ladies go first. Ladies first. Absolutely.
Have fun. Like, if you're not having fun, then, you know, what's the point? It's a creative field. You know, it's all about being able to lean into yourself, lean into your strengths in order to find the character or whatever copy that you're doing. And honestly, if you're doing it just for fame, then it's not gonna be fun when you're like, you know, going through the periods of time where you don't book anything, or the times where you audition for dream things and you don't book. Like, you got to do it because it's fun. So that's always my number one thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Zeno.
I always answer this question with remember that you love it. Like, I always used to say, remember why you started, but why you start has to be because you love it. Almost has to be. It doesn't, you know, every case is their own, but yeah, remember that you love it. And that's going to, I think, carry you through your ups and your downs of your career and project you into wanting to get better and into being into having gratitude for all the opportunities and the work that you get and the ones that you don't get. So remember that you love it at the end of the day.
I like that. AJ, what about you?
Mine would be to remember that it's subjective. I think we place a lot of pressure on ourselves as actors. I mean, when you're first starting out, you don't think about that stuff because you're like, oh, the audition. This is so much fun. I get to do this thing, fan dub or whatever. You're just having a good time. But once you start to be like, oh, I want to do this, you start to almost act worse or put too much pressure on you because you're so worried. You're like, I'm gonna knock this person's socks off. I think they want this, but you don't know that. So kind of like what Zeno said, remember why you're doing it is because you love it, and it's not to impress anybody or to prove to anybody that you're enough. It's to just play the character. And I think there was I think it was Steve Bloom. I was watching an interview of his, and he talked about how he wasn't booking nilch, you know, for a long period of time, and he was so desperate and so anxious, and he wanted it so bad. But it was like when he just said, you know what, I don't care how many side jobs I have to work to live, if I can just do voiceover on the side and just do it because I love it, then I'll be fine. It wasn't until then that he started booking like crazy. So it's just, you're gonna do better if you just give yourself a break.
Mm. Give yourself a break.
My biggest advice, if you want to do this full time, 40 hours a week, especially this is a rather personal story, but like I moved out here and I'm not good at making friends. I'm not. That's just something that I had to learn how to do. And something like maintaining friendships. When I was in high school, nobody really invited me out to do anything. I just kind of went home and played video games and, immersed myself in anime and games and things like that and comics. So moving out here as an actor, even during like, stage shows or whatever, you're a family for like a month and then you part ways and then you're gone and then you're not really friends anymore. So moving out here, my biggest, the thing that I learned that really grounded me the most is make friends and make genuine friends, make real friends. And they're the people that can ground you whenever you start to float away. Whenever you start to, get anxious about your reads, whenever you start to, worry about whether or not you're booking or what you're going to book or what your future looks like, you can talk to people who have these experiences and have the perspective that you don't because you're you. Does that make sense? But yeah, and those people have honestly saved my career several times. And some of my best friends I made within the last 2 years. And I feel like I'm going to know them for the rest of my life. And I've never felt that before. So that's just very important to me is maintain your friendships and don't make them about work.
Very true.
Yeah, I can hear the truth in your voice, and I can agree with that, especially
Also
if you're.
but
It's not truth; it's exhaustion.
truth is my exhaustion.
We live that truth indeed every day. Now, each of you has portrayed a character that has resonated with anime fans everywhere. How do you react to your fans when they reach out to you to express how much they enjoy what you do and thank you for what you do? Because I could sit here and moon over you guys all the time because I've been, like I said, I've been anime since I was 18 and I'm 52. So you already know I've been in it for a minute. So I start with Anairis because I got to hear from the queen, got to hear from her. How do you react when fans approach you?
It's very surreal to me. Like I've been to a few cons and of course interacted with people online and people will say like, oh, I came to this con specifically for you and I'm so happy you're here. And I can't compute it, it's sort of like overwhelming, but I'm also like very happy because it's like, oh, I'm glad I could be a part of something that had such a huge impact on you. I think I figured out like when I was younger that my purpose on this planet is to help people. I think that's something that I find a lot of joy in. So being able to do it creatively, being able to do it by, inserting pieces of myself into the character that I voice, to have that resonate with people means a lot. And, I'm always very humbled that I could be put in this position. And yeah.
Okay.
It's very overwhelming. It's hard to put words. And, yeah.
I can imagine, but if it fits, it fits. AJ, what about you?
It makes me tear up sometimes. I'm not gonna lie when I get those messages because the whole reason I kind of almost just like Anairis, I decided I wanted to be an artist when I was in high school because I was like, Naruto growing up meant so much to me. If I could draw a character and like design a character that somebody else loves that much, that'd be awesome. And then I didn't want to learn anatomy. So I was like, I was like, what else can I do? And well, I got into voiceover because I was good at it. Another part of me knows that my work is going to be around forever. Like no matter what, it's going to help people. People don't need to know what I look like. I thought Timmy Turner and Jimmy Neutron were the coolest kids, coolest boys around, and they're voiced by women. It doesn't matter. Like they mean something to people. And I thought that I could do that. So when I get messages like, oh, you're the reason why I started trying to do voiceover, you're the reason why I have hope and all these other things, I'm like, well, I just started myself and I appreciate it, but man, I don't think it's fully hit me yet because the pandemic is when my career kind of took off, and I haven't been in studio once yet because I live in Massachusetts.
No way, AJ.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I've never been in
Wow.
studio, so or met fans or anything. But that'll change very shortly. But it's gonna hit me. I think it's gonna hit me.
This weekend.
Yeah, this weekend we're all gonna be there.
I have so much I need to do.
Yeah, same. So busy.
Everybody
But we're here
get
for
ready. Jonah, what about you?
I like to adopt the moniker of ascended fanboy, because
Wow.
I have been an actor by trade for a long time, and that's my creative outlet. But my creative inlet is anime and video games. A lot of video games. I used to be a semi-professional League of Legends player, so I played
Ooh.
8
Holy
to 10
cow.
hours a day sometimes of League and a bunch of other things. But a big inspiration of mine is another video game actor named Matthew Mercer. And
yes.
he is. I don't want to put him on a pedestal or anything like that, but he's very much I want to adopt his work ethic and how he interacts with people, and I just feel like he's a very good touchstone for that kind of thing. And he's also an ascended fanboy. He's a cosplayer and things like I used to cosplay as well. I just want to people come up to me and I want to share my excitement. I want to be like, yo, I think what I'm doing is super cool, and I want to share that with people. And when people come to me and say like, oh, I really like this character, we go on tangents and we talk about what a hypothetical season 2 might look like, or we talk about like what our favorite parts in the manga were, or what our favorite parts of our, not even games that I'm in, what our favorite parts of our favorite games are. I just like to interact with people on a fan level, because like we got a convention this weekend. I was going to conventions my entire life since I've been 8 years old, and I know what it's like to go to a convention just for Matthew Mercer. I know what they're experiencing, and I like to I guess catalyze that and incentivize that and be like, yeah, dude, I want you to have the best experience possible, because that's what I wanted out of this. And I really, again, the tearing up thing, I've cried so many times, people sending me messages like, it's just the sweetest thing. And it is, to piggyback off of Anairis' comment, it is surreal. A lot of the time I don't believe it's happening.
Wow.
And it's what I want to do with my life. And I'm so excited that I get to do it with these fabulous people.
I like that. Zeno, what about you, sir?
Yeah, I can't help but echo everybody's sentiments. I'm it's an enormous blessing that I can't really like put into words, like how much it means that I get to be for someone what someone else was for me. And even though like that wasn't my intention, like I'm glad like people can feel seen because of my work.
Mhm.
People who I know because I am them, I was them, didn't feel seen previous to my work. Or who didn't feel like they could do something because nobody told them that they could. And nobody showed them that they could. That I can help be a small part of their creative journey through my art, which is like why I do it. I like, I like reaching to people and connecting with people through my art. And yeah, it's a honor that is being, it's been successful, that sentiment has been echoed by people, and that I have that kind of impact on someone that I never would have thought in a million years I'd have that kind of impact on. So yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's a very monumentous honor to have, I think, that I'm honored to have.
I think that sounds pretty weighty in itself, and it seems pretty appropriate. I know that you guys have definitely traveled different roads, different paths to come to where you're at. So, and I applaud you all each for doing what you do. From a fan to fellow fans, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I can put that out there. I'm going to say it. I don't even care. They can write it out. I don't even care. So we have a few questions from some of the wonderful people in the audience. Would y'all like to answer one or two?
Yes, of course.
All
There I do it. There I do it for.
Let's do it.
All right, we got a question from Trisha. She wants to know, were there any roles you struggled with?
Oh man.
Hanma,
Good question.
believe it or not. I had a
Go
very
on.
hard time with Shuji Hanma in Tokyo Revengers.
Really?
No idea how to approach that guy. Because like I was like, this guy's like, he's like a teenager, right? How do I like balance the line of like making him feel young and also making him feel imposing, and like I wanted to him to have like a more unique voice print, even though like I can't really hide from people who know my voice, but I wanted him to sound a little bit different, a little like, I don't know, like number, and then like flip the crazy on. But my voice, I don't really describe it as menacing, and I think Hanma's a very menacing guy when he can be. So that was like and I'm just not good at playing bad guys.
I'll take him.
Yeah, it's hard to be mean. I don't know how to be mean.
It's easy. It's easy.
It's not for me. So it's like, I don't know. Is it menacing enough? So yeah, I had a hard time. At least in the beginning, before I like figured out like how I wanted to do it. Before I locked in. That was hard for me at first, I think.
Okay.
So these are the hardest characters we've had to do. Well, I think what people would think the hardest one for me to do would be like Lego Sheep, but in all honesty, that grounded cinematic stuff is really simple for me to pull off because of just the way my voice comes out.
Yeah.
The hardest crap for me to do is like Tatsu from Way of the House Husband, this over the top, like larger than life, parody of a character, right? And that was difficult for me to do. I love doing comedy. I love doing stage comedy because I'm usually playing the straight man, leading man, and everybody bounces off of me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But for this, I was the guy making all the jokes. And not only that, but it was physically exhausting because over half of the lines that I had were in this big, booming, raspy, yelly like voice. And we had to get some of it done in like a week. We had an entire season to do in a week. And that was like every day of just like constantly every day. And it was exhausting. I had to take a couple days off afterwards. But the funny part was, as I went on, the voice got better and better because every day it would just get raspier and deeper. And like I've been through battle and like I've seen some crap and stuff like that. But, it was difficult, but it was so much fun. And yelling for that long is very cathartic. You get out of that session, you're just like, oh my God.
I'm so stress free for some reason.
Yeah, right. It's just great. Yeah.
Okay. AJ, what about you?
By far, Rumina from Baki. The little kid that Baki hangs out with for the first couple episodes. That was a struggle because Baki's crazy. It's a crazy show. I
bully you in that. I bully you into doing that.
Yeah, you do.
Not only do I bully you into doing that, I'm also your bully. I'm the bully that tells you where to go after.
Yeah.
Admits his role in the whole process.
Oh man, that was rough. Not only because the voice was like super, super high, I was also extremely nervous throughout recording it because Troy Baker is my hero. Like and Troy and Miley Flanagan, both respectively, are my heroes. And so I remember I did like a callback or something for it, and I go in and I do it, and the second I heard the voice come out of Troy's voice come out of Baki's face, I was I almost didn't say my line. I was like, wait, I get to do that's crazy. So I was nervous, but also it kind of hurt. I had to scream, and Baki doesn't talk a lot, so a lot of the exposition was coming out of me.
Right.
And I'd never done a voice that high before, and I was kind of self-conscious. I was like, does this sound like a child? And I think it does.
You did great. You did amazing.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, it was that I think by far has been the hardest for me.
Okay.
I kind of float between two, but I think one I haven't talked about is Rika Kawai in One Drag Priority. So I usually play like these tough girls who they're not the type to get into their emotions very much, but this was a character that really got into her emotions. He had some, tough trauma, abandonment trauma, and mommy issues basically, and her story resonated a lot with me personally, but then the way she expresses herself is way different than I express myself. The way I express myself is more similar to Ioto in the series, where she kind of just shuts down, she keeps things to herself, whatever. But Rika's a type where she'll like avoid talking about deeper things, and she'll just overreact or overdo things to compensate for the fact that she feels vulnerable. And learning how to encapsulate that was really hard because I guess I'm so used to being honest with my feelings that being a character that wasn't honest with their feelings was interesting to explore, and then trying to balance her energy, because she has so much energy sometimes, and balancing her highs and her lows. It was hard, and there's some really tough scenes in that where she gets into some self-harm, and it's having to channel some parts of me when I was younger, and it was a very personal role and a very tough one, but I'm also very proud of it. So
okay, wow,
you should be.
Yes, you should.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Each one of you should be proud of what you've done, and if no one's told you, then I'm telling you. You guys should be proud.
I appreciate you so much, dog.
Get weepy up in here. I firmly believe that you guys work really hard behind the scenes, behind the camera, behind the microphone, and doing everything that you do. So, have there been any funny moments while you've been recording?
I got a really juicy one, but
oh my God,
I'm gonna say
Jonah, we only got so much time, sir. Okay.
Okay. I'll go first. All right. So I was recording a video game recently. This was like within the past 4 months, I think. And it was at the end of the day, and I was driving all over LA. So I had not eaten at all. But what I did have were this is gonna get a little TMI, but what I did have were these fiber bars that were just in the back of my car. And I'm like, oh, okay, you know what? I can live on these for a day, right? I don't have to go and spend $30 on, downtown Burbank food. I can just live on these fiber bars for a day because I don't like spending a whole lot of money. But I did that. And then this is the last session of the day. It's from 8 to 11 p.m. And my stomach was in knots over itself, churning.
Oh, no.
We were doing efforts. Okay. And that's a lot of physical exertion if you're doing it how you're supposed to be doing it, right? So it's the first time I've ever told this story. I really had to fart really bad. Oh God, no, and I couldn't one cheek sneak it. Just because of how much the volume that was there, right? And so we have to do them in varying, we have to do efforts in varying intensity. And then we were hitting the highest intensity. And that's if you don't win this fight, you're going to die, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, we were, and if you're doing a video game session, it's just boom, 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 boom. There's no real time, right? To say, hey, can we go 15 seconds really quick so I can go to the bathroom and fart? But so we get to the most physically exertive ones, and I'm like, it's going to happen in the middle of this effort right now. So I just went, and it was all the way through the effort. And then,
oh no.
I didn't have the heart to say, they're like, okay, good, next. I didn't have the heart to say, look, dude, there's a big fart in the middle of the effort. You might want to go back and get like 3 more just in case. There's a big old part there. I didn't have the heart to say that. So there's gonna be coming out in the next, like, I don't know, 8 months, 2 years, whenever it comes out. It just has a big old Jonah fart in there in one of those efforts, and nobody heard it. So that's my fun story.
Holy cow!
Right? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, God.
All right. Anyone else?
I'm not sure I can follow that.
Yeah, I know.
No, I don't want to follow
I
that
can
one.
follow that.
I don't want to follow.
I think Jonah wins.
Yeah, Jonah definitely wins.
I
Jonah
can't
just
even
blew
think of anything
everybody
happens to me.
literally and figuratively completely out of this whole panel.
Oh, yeah.
So we got a question from Jordan. Jordan would like to know, how did you feel when the first time you watched a scene you voiced?
Oh, man.
That's a
I
good
hate it.
question. Really?
Zio, go
I
ahead.
hate it. That's the first time. The first time, I hate it. I'm a very critical actor of myself, and I pick apart every little thing that I do. So instead of like enjoying it, which is the right thing to do,
Mhm.
the first time I ever heard myself was like, ew.
Gosh.
It with the except, I guess, like now, like the first ever job I did was like Ben 10 Alien Force, like long time ago.
Mhm.
And I was 14, so like when I first heard that, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. You know, I'm in a cartoon, like that in itself. When
Yeah.
you're a teenager, when you're 14, when you watch cartoons, and you that was like cool. When you like go to Cartoon Network and you're like, wow, this is how this. You know, I was like, oh my gosh, it's me. And then like now, you know, I'm like, I hate it. Like after the 7-year gap between when that and like when I didn't work and I like listened to myself again, I was like, I hate it. This is why I could have done that way better. I wish I could. But yeah, those are the 2 alternating first times.
Okay. Anairis, what about you?
Yeah, I'm like Zeno, where I'm very critical. So, but I think, sometimes like the first time I'll hear it, I'm like, this is terrible. I don't know what I was thinking. Dang it, I should have asked for more takes.
Mhm.
But then I'll then I'll go back to listening to it though later, like maybe rewatching with friends or whatever. And I think that's where I guess I'm less critical and I can kind of appreciate what I did with it.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of like the reverse of Zeno in that sense. But like I remember the first time I watched the episode I did in Pokemon as Nessa, Pokemon Twilight Wings, and at first I was like, maybe that's weird. That's my voice coming out of her, and I didn't really process it because I don't really process most things because I'm disassociating constantly. But the second time or third time that I watched it months later, I was like, holy crap. I voice a Pokemon character. That's me. Like, what the heck? And I remember tearing up during that time. And I don't usually get emotional about my work because, yeah, but it was it's really cool. It's really exciting. And I think when you get so wrapped up in work, you can kind of forget that, like there's an end result sort of, and being able to appreciate the end result is it's always really cool, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. What about you, AJ?
Kind of like a mix. Kimono Jihen was like my first official professional thingy. And I remember watching that and I was like, I'm a beast. I killed that. But also
Amazing. Best voice actor.
But
That's
also
my award.
Why you can do anything else ever again?
to be honest, I'm done. No, but for like for a split second I was like, oh my gosh, that's me. I did so good. And then I'm like, wait, maybe I'm not as good as I think I am. Maybe the fans won't like it. And then I'm panicking about that.
Oh my goodness.
So it's like a mix. Usually I'm really thrilled to hear myself. It's still to me the coolest thing ever to imagine a world where like my cousin just had a kid and I'm going to be working on a show that kid's probably going to grow up watching a little bit.
Oh wow.
And that's nuts. So that's fun. But kind of mix of thrilled and scared, very scared.
Okay. Okay.
Constant states of a voice actor.
Yes.
I'm learning as I'm going through this too. So, Jonah, what about you, sir?
Well, the first character that I ever voiced in an anime sounds nothing like me. It was Kengan Ashura, which is the 3D CG show based on the manga of the same name on Netflix. And I voiced one of the protagonist's best friends. And the voice was just this stuff all the time. And it was just this big dude who like he's ripped, he's shredded, he's huge. It's like 6'5", but like that wasn't me. So when I sat down to watch it on Netflix, I was like popcorn in hand. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And then I was like, this is how anime is going to be. Yay, whatever. And then I got Legoshi and I'm like, I can't screw this up ever at all. And if I do, I will hate myself for the rest of my life. And because there's a difference between doing that like bombastic, like best friend archetype and then playing a lead in a show that is about emotions.
Yeah,
and
I feel that.
There's such a contrast there. When I sat down to watch it, I was terrified because you don't know what take they took.
No,
you don't know which one and how they edit it together. You don't know if the sound effects are too loud. You don't know if the music's going to be the right volume. You have a lot of a lot of agency taken away from you as a creative, and there's no way you can get it back. That's just not how this works. Right. So I had to sit down and be just okay with what happened. I'm very, very glad with how it turned out. Everybody did their jobs in amazing fashion. It's just Legoshi is my voice, and that's Jonah, right? It's not where I can have that separation of Lihito is this crazy character or Formaggio who's this, psychopath. That's Jonah. That's a lot of my heart there. And it's raw and open, and I wish I could have done a better take.
What do you mean? You're amazing. What are you talking about?
Oh my goodness,
It's like the most amazing actors are the most critical. Everybody here is like, oh, I wish I could have done better. And I'll watch this stuff and be like, this is perfect. Oh my god, how do they do this? How do they do this so effortlessly? I hate myself. I'm like, what am I doing this for?
I want to be like y'all when I grow up, for real. Everybody, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your wisdom and your knowledge and experience, and everybody out here. I hope we've enjoyed this fantastic conversation with these brilliant voice actors. Whether they think they're brilliant or not, they are. Okay, I'll put it out there just like that. Okay. So thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate that. And everybody here at MAGWest appreciates you coming and taking the time.
Heck yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you guys for having us.
Yes.
Everybody.
Especially.
Enjoy the rest of the convention. Y'all have a good time because I wish I was there with you. And y'all take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Hello, my name is Oscar Gonzalez. I am the creator of Wally and the Fantastic Predators. Wally is a permadeath roguelite, similar to Hades, Binding of Isaac, Enter the Gungeon, and Nuclear Throne. What sets Wally apart, though, is the attitude that it chooses to engage in this genre. Wally, if it was a person, like if this game was a person, would be the weird kid in middle school or high school that just sort of Naruto runs in between classes. It's weird and it's self-confident. It kind of, you just see him absolutely vibe, be himself, and you're like, damn, that is pretty self-confident. It's that kind of, it's weirdly full of self-love. It's weird to say that out loud, but it absolutely is. If you just see the way it handles these very minute details when it comes to games, the way it goes out of its way to make a joke or introduce a new game design idea or throws away the entire aesthetic of the game in order to present something absolutely new. It's a game that I really wanted to play as a kid, and I was like, well, no one's gonna make it, I might as well make it myself. It's such an honor to be able to sort of show it to you today. And here's a trailer. Hope you like it. Good to see you back, my dude. The game was actually inspired by Wally, my real-life dog, who will never, ever understand that his likeness was ever used in a video game. He's probably like, please, just give me treats, belly rubs, and tell me I'm beautiful. Oh my gosh. So if you like what you see, please take a copy on your way out. It's available on Steam right now, and I'm working my butt off to get it released on consoles in this next upcoming year. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.